Welcome to Inside Raceland Football, live on Kool TV. Over the next hour, James Collier will visit with Raceland Rams head coach Mike Salmons and players to discuss the 2025 Rams season in their quest toward another return trip to Kroger Field. Now, here's your host of Inside Raceland Football, the voice of the Rams, James Collier.
And a pleasant good evening from the Fieldhouse here at Raceland Worthington High School, as finally the Rams are going to get to come home this week after 3 weeks on the road and a tough loss last week down in Pikeville. But the Rams Hall of Fame weekend, as they'll put 5 new players into the Hall of Fame. We'll talk about that later on in the show. And they got Mercer County coming in this Friday night at 8 o'clock. Alongside head coach Mike Salmons, I'm James Collier. Happy to have you along with us here tonight on the show. If you have a question for anyone, coach, or the players that we're going to have up a little bit later on, drop those questions in the chat box, and we'll try to get those answered as we go along. 3 players that will be with us in the second segment of the show tonight. We've got Bryson Rowsey, Parker Ison, and Shannon Marushi. So those 3 will be with us. They are nervous as can be, coach. Shannon came to me today at lunch, and he's like, can you give me the questions that we're going to ask? And I said, no way. I said, that's element of surprise. And then Parker Ison came in. He goes, I was okay until I found out this was live. I was a little nervous, but a tough one last week, coach, and it was a very odd situation. Everything rolling well. You guys up 27-0. Lightning finally puts us under delay. 5-hour delay. And then you and I talked about this after the game. Momentum is a funny thing, and when you lose grasp of momentum, it can run away from you in a heartbeat, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 2.5 quarters, we were really good, played really hard, felt like we played really hard for 48 minutes. I can't fault our effort. Some of our execution wasn't what it needed to be. The last quarter and a half there, obviously we came back from the delay, and they hit a big play and got some momentum on their side, and we just never could flip it back. And had a chance multiple times to get some first downs on the offensive side or get some stops on the defensive side, and just never could flip the momentum. And then it continued to build and build and build. And I think I told you after the game, it's kind of like an avalanche, and we were just over there trying to find the right button to push because, people can say what they will, but a play here, a play there, and I literally mean one play, and the game is secured. Mm-hmm. And so we just couldn't make it. It wasn't anybody's fault. It was our fault. It was self-inflicted by us. I'm the leader of our team, and so that falls on me. But it's a learning experience. I told our guys before we went down there, look, they're not giving out no trophies after that game, and if the outcome would have remained the same, they would have given out no trophies. And so obviously we don't want that to ever happen. But if it has to happen, it's much better in week 3 than week 15 or somewhere where, you're taking up equipment. And so learning experience, obviously there's some situational things during the game that as coaches we got to do a better job of. And we've tried to work on some of those things this week. And, you go back to work. I mean, that, like I tell you all the time in November, there's a couple of things that don't survive in November, and that's teams can't run the ball. And, dogs that try to, cross the road and rush our traffic. And so we can roll over and play dead, or we can keep swinging. And so our kids don't know any better. That's all we know. We're going to show back up. And, I think everybody's got a little edge on their shoulder, a little chip on their shoulder, 2 sleeps away to get up the home crowd.
Yeah, I talked with Coach Magmy after the game, and one of the things he said, he was talking to his players during that break, and he said, guys, think about this. He said, we're on the back side of this 27-0 right now. He said, we could be on the other side of that, being up 27-0. And he said, it's very easy just to kind of go to sleep, think this one's done, let's put it away, and then all of a sudden it slips up on it. He said, so they used it as much of a learning tool for what you guys were in, for what they am, because they said they expect to see this matchup somewhere down the line in postseason play.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've been very transparent, and I feel like he probably has too. Me as a head coach, and our program has the utmost respect for Coach McNamee and what he does. Again, I think that's reciprocated both ways. We both have staffs that change some, but for the most part, the 2 of us have been, in this position or with our programs for the past 2+ decades. And so, he's done a great job. A lot of respect for those guys. Obviously, Class A football runs through them. I've been very transparent about that. We had a chance on Friday to maybe put ourselves up there on line 1A or 1B beside of them, and we just weren't there yet. And so you go back to work, right? Hopefully we'll, advance far enough where we see them and they advance and we see each other. I know we played in the state finals twice in a row, played in semifinals one time, and very well could have been on a collision course last year. And they got hurt, they got injured, and got knocked off, and so those things happen. It's a learning experience for them and learning experience for us from Friday. And so those things don't define you. When you're in those storms, we call them storms, adversity moments. It's all about the response. You're going to lay on the mat, or it's all about getting up and how you come back. And that's what I'm really excited to see, out here in 48 hours, I guess, how's our response going to be, and, who's going to be the one that can really put it behind them and move forward. And that's what makes us excited. And, getting back home is probably a good time. We've been on the road for a month. And so onward we go. We're excited to move through our schedule and, see if we can reach our potential for the 2025 team.
Coach McNamee said, there were so many things that had to go right in every facet of the game for them to do what they did. I'm a numbers guy, obviously. I'm a math guy. The math on 2 successful onside kicks, it's 0.8%. Not 8%, 0.8%. And then the ball that they throw there that gives them the lead at the end, you've got 2 guys right there. And I talked to Jonah this week, and he said I turned, I just overran it. And he said it was right there. But even Coach McNamee said, he goes, you draw it up, but you never expect it to hit the way that it did. And it was just one of those things that everything that came up that night came up maroon.
Yeah, and at least for the last quarter and a half, or last 16 minutes or
16 minutes, yeah.
The other 32 minutes or so was in our favor, and things went our way, and we made some plays, and both teams turned the ball over. And it's just one of those things where luck wasn't on your side, but there was some luck to get in the position we were in, and then we weren't able to kind of clear our vision and flip the script. It just took a play here or a play there. You don't really know why things like that happen to you. You just know that if you take them the right way and you take them with a learning lesson, you come out better on the other side. And that's really what it's about for us, to be our best when our best is required. Our best is not required on whatever day that was, September 5th. Yeah. Our best is required, hopefully, December 5th. That's kind of our goal. And it's a process to get there. And so, you go back to work. And, the old Saturday guy texted me this week. You find out in some of these moments, who your friends are and what people really think about you. And the guy said, don't let yesterday take up too much of the day. And I really hung on to that this week. Like, he takes me that Saturday, and don't let Friday take up too much of Saturday. And so, I think the learning lesson there is, look, you're not in the rear view. You're not going backwards. You're going through the windshield. You're going forward. So what can we do to move forward? Yes, there's some reflection. You're an educator. You got to reflect and learn on your lesson and the things you did, the things you would like to change, the things you did change, the things that you liked about the lesson, the things we liked about our game plan that we want to move forward with. But at the same time, you got to keep moving forward, and that's what we've tried to do this week. And, I think our guys are a little bit on edge, and, I think they're a little bit have a little bit of frustration, as you would expect, right? I mean, that's a monumental task for them to go through, and just an emotional roller coaster for us as adults. So put ourselves in the shoes of young kids, what that would be like. And so they're excited to get back out here. And, again, we haven't played for the home crowd yet. And so I'm really excited to see what we do on Friday.
Let's look at the numbers from last week as we go through this. And we got our first question coming in here, and it's going to pull up one of the numbers that jump out at you on the screen. Rushing, 156 for you guys, 98 for Pikeville. They threw for 206. A lot of this coming after that delay. They had 60 yards of total offense and then hit 2 big home run balls. 2 turnovers for the Panthers. You guys had the 1 interception there late. But the number that really jumps off the screen there, Coach, penalties. 13 penalties, 113. And one of the questions we get here is, did you think you'll be able to get the penalties cleaned up for this week's game?
Well, first of all, off on the stats, that's not winning football. That's not disciplined football. Right down the hallway here, we have a goal board, a winning board. I'm sure you've seen it, or whenever you show their facility, there's 8 different categories that we talk about that we calculate that determines winning. It's not just watching the scoreboard. And one of them is the penalty battle. And just simply put, who has more penalties, you or your opponent? And if they have more than you, you get a win for that category. Obviously, we got a loss on Friday. And so that was just simply us playing with a lack of discipline at times, sometimes being in the wrong place, in our fits and our blocks or whatever. And then when momentum got going, we kind of parlayed and played into that. And so, to answer the question, that's been a big point of emphasis. We got to play more discipline. We got to be under control. We want to play hard. We want to play aggressive. We want to play with an edge, but we got to be able to contain that as well. And if we want to reach our potential and, you know, be standing on December 5th with the gold trophy, you know, the penalties have got to be under control. You know, I think realistically for us, the first 2 weeks, I think we were somewhere under 50 yards. You know, when you figure you're going to get a hold here, a hold there, you know, you're going to get a false start here, false start there, maybe a kick out of bounds, whatever you may get. 50 yards for high school football is probably attainable, probably realistic goal for us. And maybe over the history here, this is obviously my 12th year as head coach, I think that's kind of been our sweet spot for success on Fridays. And obviously Friday we were well over double that, and that's just not good enough.
Last year you averaged right at 6 penalties a game for 53 yards.
Yeah.
Through the first 2 games, like you said, you're averaging 2 penalties for 25 yards. So a very asterisk beside that. And again, it's one of those games when you get into a rivalry game, sometimes things get amped up a little bit and things can get away from you before you know it.
Yeah, and so another thing too, you know, you don't. We talk about control the controllables, things you can control, things that are under your control, things that are out of your control. You have to let them go. So when people start talking about officials and so on and so forth, like that's out of our control, right? So we got to let that go. That's a sign of a loser. We got to focus on the things we can control and don't leave it into the officials' hands. And so, you know, it's high school football. There's not challenge flags. There's not red flags. I don't have a flag over there in the sideline. I can challenge this spot or that catch or no catch. It doesn't work that way. But you got to make sure you understand that and you keep yourself out of those positions. And that's what we didn't do. And when the momentum started, it's a game of momentum too. So officials feel momentum. And so, you know, it all carries together. It's just like I said, there's an avalanche. And so, a big point of emphasis for us, you know, we had a couple late hits, things we can't control. You know, some targeting calls, some calls that are 50-50 calls, you know, could go either way. They didn't go our way. Okay, we got to learn from it and make sure we don't put ourselves in a position where the 50-50 calls matter. And so that's been the coaching point this week. And we went back to work. And again, I think our kids will reflect and learn from that. And I'm sure on Friday, at least I hope. If I know our football team with 12 seniors, I would expect a very excited football team. One, coming off what happened 7 days ago at the time, and 2, you know, playing for a home crowd on Hall of Fame night will really generate a lot of enthusiasm for our guys.
What's practice been like this week? Again, you go into something like a tough night, Friday night, late into early morning. It was 2:30 before we got home on Saturday morning, and then getting back at the bit. What's it been like this week getting ready for the preparation?
You know, Sunday we came back in and we really studied the Pikeville film and tried to put it to bed and had a great reflecting time, great reflection. Felt like guys learned from it. You know, felt like guys were, you know, in tune and kind of was in, you know, what we were doing and what we were selling and what we were speaking about. Monday, you know, had a little bit lack of focus, wasn't our best on Monday. We were good at times, just not consistent throughout the practice. I had a JV game Monday night, played well, whatever. Tuesday, fairly focused practice, much better than Monday. Very businesslike. Not a lot of chit chatter, not a lot of extra shenanigans. Just a lot of guys who kind of wanted to clock in and clock out, and that's really who we are. We're blue collar. I talk about it all the time. You know, we got a red light and a 4-way stop sign and a railroad and a football team, and it's about all this town's made on. And so we were good Tuesday. Today, thought we had a good defensive day. You know, Mercer County we'll talk about, I'm sure, later. You know, do some different things than last week, and so you know, trying to get some different looks in. You know, but overall, you know, a solid day today, particularly defensively, offensively today. Maybe not as good as it was Tuesday, but nonetheless much better than Monday. So we're moving forward. You know, a couple things. We got some nicks and bangs and guys injured, so you get some moving pieces in this Class A football, right? So what happens is, you know, you get one guy down, so you move a guy to that position. But then the other position becomes an opening, and so you got some reshuffling there. Some guys, maybe not in new roles, but in new positions. You know, maybe they're still a starter on the offensive line or defensive line, but maybe instead of being a defensive end, now they're nose man, or instead of nose man, now they're inside backer. And so we're trying to work through some of those things. And so you know, at the end of the day, they got to tee it up Friday night at 8 o'clock between the white lines, and you know, I feel like our guys will be ready to let it go.
Looking at the film from the Pikeville game. And knowing what Mercer County likes to do, they're going to throw the football. There's no secret about it. That's what they want to do. Has that really helped your guys in the back end, your corners and your safeties, of maybe being able to tighten up some stuff to where those underneath routes are very easy and obtainable, to where maybe they can see some of the stuff that they can tighten up and try to get in better positions to make those plays?
Well, there's no doubt, right? The last 60 minutes of the game was a very indicative thing of that for us. The one thing that I will say about a pass coverage, the most effective pass coverage is a pass rush. I'm not trying to steal no NFL, saying or whatever. That is the truth. You got to rush the passer. And so as we can rush the passer more effectively and more efficiently and in the proper lanes, and even if you reflect on Friday, sometimes we did rush the passer. We missed him. He was a good quarterback.
And you said before coming into the game, he was really good with his feet.
Good with his feet, yeah. And so we missed him on some chances to really get negative plays. Even on the play that they scored the game-winning touchdown on, had him sacked on the right side, scrambled all the way across the field to the left side, and call it what you will, threw up a Hail Mary, right? And that's what it was. It was answered, and credit to him, but for making those plays. So those type of things I think will help us. We have been extremely detailed about being in our rush lanes, rushing on the correct shoulder, trying to have some gap integrity, and those type of things will help our back-end pass coverage. Our back-end pass coverage for the most part, wasn't bad. I think you put up our 200 yards, and the last drive was 70 maybe.
They had 60 coming out of the break, and the rest of it came after the stoppage from the Lightning.
Right, and the last drive was 70-plus yards, I do believe, in less than 40 seconds.
It was 76 yards in 46 seconds.
Yeah.
So
and so that kind of shows you where we were. I mean, before that they were at 130 yards. Again, credit to them. Misfortune by me as a head coach. We went some type of a nickel prevent defense there that got us in some trouble, and then we got in our regular defense, and just we weren't able to get him on the ground. And so, with those things being said, I think our guys on the back end learned from the other night. We did have a pick. We had picks in 3 games in a row, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. So our guys are ball hawking. Our guys are being aggressive. We're giving up less explosive. We still gave up one big explosive the other night. And so those are things we'll learn from. Obviously, Mercer's going to challenge us. I think everybody knows that our intent is to stop the run and to run the football in whatever side of the ball that is. That's how you win football games. That's what we believe in. And so I'm sure they know that. And, they have a dynamic receiver and a dynamic quarterback. And so I would imagine that their game plan is going to be to put the thing in the air. And I'm excited for that. It would be good to see our guys challenge and be challenged for that. Down the road, I'm sure there are going to be other teams that have that same, mindset. And to see if we can, rush the passer.
And this is a guy, and we'll talk more about this later on the show. This quarterback is not so much a guy that's going to be like Reynolds from Pikeville. He's not going to move around. He'll move in the pocket, but he doesn't want to try to beat you with his feet. He wants to use his arm.
Yeah, he probably throws the ball better than the kid last week from Pikeville. Probably maybe not as elusive as that guy. As far as, Pikeville has some design runs for him, has some RPOs for that kid that he can keep the ball or throw the ball or hand the ball off. Maybe not as much in that regard, but just to be a prolific, sit back there and spin the ball out of his right hand, that's who he is. And I would say in the first, this is what, our 4th game, that'll be the quarterback who has the best ability to make plays with his arm that we faced.
Jake made a couple good throws on your side, too, on those first 2 drives. He went down the sideline to Jonah and then had a nice comeback route when he took everybody right, brought Shannon back across and got the 10-yard touchdown. Threw with a lot of confidence in that game. And you could really tell from, as we've talked about, from last year to this year, how much he's really grown.
Yeah, I feel like Jake ran our football team well enough for our football team to win. We put the ball in the air, I think, 15 times. Maybe would have liked to thrown it a few more times, but we lost 2 possessions. And so when you get the ball there, I think we had the ball 1 time in the 4th quarter minus the last possession. You're really just trying to bleed the clock and trying to run out of them out of timeouts, which we did. Credit to our offense. We got them out of timeouts in our 4-minute offense. We were just a first down away from ending the game. And so those are things that, again, that's what I talked about earlier. It's all of us collectively self-inflicted this thing. It's not the offense. It's not the defensive back. It's not the defensive line. It's not the hands team that didn't field the onside kicks. It's everyone that had a piece of this that had a chance to change the outcome, and none of us did. And so that's really what it's all about. But, Jake's been real solid for us. We have the most confidence in Jake. Ideally we would have thrown the ball a few more times. I think moving forward, we would probably see us do that just from the standpoint of we got guys who can make plays. Jake makes outstanding decisions. He leads our football team. Obviously, he's commanded and earned their respect. And I think there was nobody hurt more in the locker room the other night than Jake. And when your quarterback is like that, that becomes infectious in the locker room. And so that's who we are. And I think on Friday you'll see a bunch of guys really try to unleash that anger.
Stiltner, a solid night, just running angry. You can see he's healthy. He's running through blocks, and I think this year it's more north-south, less east and west. He's trying to find a hole and get into it and get downfield.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Landon Stiltner. You know, I think the number one thing is he's healthy, and the number two thing is he's really bought in and he's being coachable, and he's really trying to learn all aspects. I think, you know, him running straight line to begin with, he was really good at, but the other parts of his game has really grown. You know, his ball skills have gotten better. He's gotten better at carrying out fakes. He's blocking better, you know, on top of making explosive home run plays. He's helping the team on defense. He's playing multiple snaps of defense and probably needs to be playing more defense, and I think you'll see us do that a little bit more. Maybe as the weather cools off, but, you know, now we're getting a little bit of an uptick. But, yeah, Landon has been tremendous for us in the backfield. Really, those three guys have really kind of shared the load. I think maybe Landon got a little bit more of it, but he's been able to hit some home runs. He's been able to be explosive for us. And I'm really excited for him and how he's kind of matured just from being, you know, a little bit one-dimensional as a back to being multi-dimensional now. And also the way he carries himself in the building here. You know, he's a leader. He's a quiet leader, but he works hard. He does everything right in the weight room. Really excited for not only where he's at, but where he can be as we go through these next, 7 games. Obviously, we hope 12 games is our goal. And to see him grow in that area as he get more touches as we go, and also as he gets more snaps on defense, I really think you're going to see he's more of a complete football player. And so that's a credit to him. He's worked hard. He's got a lot of God-given ability, but he's really bought into it. And the things he can't control, he's focused on. And, you know, he's seeing fruits of his labor.
All right, we're going to step out for a break. When we come back, we will be joined by 3 players. That was a nice cut there, too, by the way. I freaked out the producer back there. But we got Parker Ison, Shannon Marushi, and Bryson Rowsey, 3 seniors for the Rams. We'll talk with them. They are nervous, so we're going to really hit them hard. If you got any questions for the players, drop them in the chat. We'll be back in just a minute. This is Inside Raceland Football on the Total Media Sports Network.
Good morning, Isabella.
Hi, David.
Back for your morning routine?
Clark's Refresh Rewards program is something you'll flip for.
Hey, Isabella. Hi, Annabelle.
Donut?
Don't forget the sprinkles. Cream and sugar.
Download our app today and enjoy all of the rewards. No flipping required.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family. Because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations, or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Fall fishing season is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewis, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter the species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style, with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Soon, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
If you can picture yourself in a better job and a better life, there are thousands of openings in KentuckyKentucky.com.
The camera.
At Members Choice Credit Union, we believe that strong communities begin with strong partnerships, and that starts with trust. Since 1932, we've proudly served the families and businesses of this region because your goals matter, your family matters, and your future should be built on a foundation you can count on and trust. Members Choice Credit Union, your money, your future, your choice.
Primary Plus is celebrating 40 years of its mission of quality, advanced, affordable health care. With over 11 primary care locations throughout the region, Primary Plus believes in our communities and our patients. The Primary Plus name means primary care plus so much more, offering extended services such as women's health, pediatrics, dental, counseling, diabetes management, infusion services, and on-site pharmacy that offers free delivery. Primary Plus believes in connecting health care for you and your family and is always welcoming new patients. Learn more at primaryplus.net.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Looking for the latest archery gear? Check out Border Sporting Goods for your best selection of Hoyt and Matthews bows, as well as 10-point crossbows with a full selection of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with a full selection of benchmark and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small you need to keep your firearms safe. Before your next hunting excursion, stop by and stock up at Border Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland. And we're back here on Inside Raceland Football alongside now 3 seniors. I'm going to let them go across here and introduce themselves, and then we'll start the torture as it's going to be. So I'll start right here.
Bryson Rowsey, senior receiver and cornerback.
Shannon Marushi, senior, running back and linebacker.
Parker Ison, senior and wide receiver.
All right, so I'm going to start with Parker because he was worried that he was going to say, I'm just going to piggyback off everybody. A tough game last Friday night for you guys. How much do you look at that game now that it's in the rearview mirror and you look at it as this is part of the foundation that you're going to build to make you get to where it is that you're trying to get back to Kroger Field?
Yeah, everybody kind of thought it was like a bad thing. But I feel like it kind of is going to help us, in the long run with all the adversity and all the upcoming games. So I feel like everybody's inspired to be
Shannon,
better.
you guys have been through 2 games already that you've had adversity. One you got over with Ashland, the second one you come up short with Pikeville. How do you weigh those 2 out to get yourself kind of on that balance of moving forward?
Well, obviously you don't like the outcome of the game last week, but it kind of sparks a little bit of fire, and to know that we haven't took a loss yet, and then we took the one last week, so we are beatable. And to just going in knowing that, we can lose, we'll be able to finish games better.
Bryson, for you, you had one of the biggest plays there in that last drive. It looked like you got there to break the pass up. You get called for PI. It's one of those that you have to go back, watch on film, and learn from that moment and try to not make that mistake moving forward. Whether it was or not, the official threw the flag, it is. How much do you go back and look at that on film and say, okay, this is something I can do to make myself better?
Yeah, it was really a bang play. I feel like I did exactly what Coach Vannon taught me, but I just can't blame the refs. So I just got to go back and make a better play next time, really.
Again, they always say you don't learn anything from losses, but losses give you things to build upon. What's something personally for you that you try to build off of that loss?
I think we realized as a team in a whole we're beatable. We're not all as good as we thought we were, and we've really got to work as a team to be better next week. And we've really been working this week, get better, and we're going to learn from it.
Shannon, for you guys, he said that, maybe you felt like you were a little bit too high on the pedestal when you got brought down. Is that a good thing for especially this early in the season to where you don't keep riding that high on the horse mentality and all of a sudden you get popped in a game when it matters?
I think it's a good thing. It let guys know that, you can't just let off the pedal. You have to finish the game.
Parker, something that a lot of people talk about is the offense, and it kind of sputtered there at the end. And, again, you guys were trying to milk the clock out, so we really took away the passing, attack, and stuff. But it's understanding one play could have made the difference in the outcome of that game. Is that how you guys, as you went through film prep this week, did you kind of look at that and say, okay, maybe if I'd made this move or got this ball or done this here, it could have changed the outcome?
Yeah, we always do that in film, go through what everybody did and what everybody did right and wrong. So we just got to be better next week. And yeah.
How big is it to get home? You guys have been on the road all season already,
It's
so
amazing.
How big is it to get back home?
It's pretty big. Everybody's excited to actually play in front of our fans and have everybody here, and we're just glad that it's not a 3-hour bus ride again. Everybody hates those.
Shannon, getting in front of the home crowd again as a senior, how big is that?
I mean, it's going to be great. It's going to be loud, and I know they're excited to not have to drive 2.5 hours to play.
Bryson, coming out of that Ram, and again, you three seniors, this is your first home game that you get a chance, and you guys only have 4 of them that's guaranteed. How big is that going to be Friday night coming out of that Ram?
It's awesome. It's going to be crazy. We've actually got 4 dudes from the school in the pep section. They're going to be painted up running out in front of the Ram. So it's going to be hype coming out.
So we'll have to definitely get them on camera. We'll have all the coverage right here on Kool TV. We'll start our, again, 8 o'clock kickoff on Friday night, so our countdown to kickoff coverage will begin at 7:40. But Hall of Fame night, too. We're going to put 5 new guys in the Hall of Fame. We'll talk about that in the next segment as well. A special bond with you 3. You guys played football through JFL all the way through. And, there's so much you hear about Raceland football and how guys come through the program. And for you 3, that's what you guys have done from the time you started playing and you put pads on to where you're here now as seniors. How big has that been?
I mean, it's awesome. We got a lot of team chemistry. Obviously, been playing together we're all held back, so it's 9 years, 10 years at least. I mean, it's awesome. We all know each other well, know how to play with each other, and helps us as a team, really.
Shannon, for you, having the kind of the notoriety of you kind of went from defense to offense last year and playing along these 2 guys here that you know on the offensive side, how was that for you?
I mean, it was good. I know what they both can do, and I know that they can help us in a lot of ways. And I've played with them my whole life, so.
Parker, for you, what's the one thing you remember about playing with these 2 guys as JFL?
I remember Shannon being, he used to be our lineman, and we put him in the backfield. We always had my papal, and he was always doing crazy things in the JFL. So we put Shannon back there first time, him at running back, and he'd always just run through people. Actually, we put Burrows back there too. And
I used to play center.
Yeah, Rowsey used to be our center and stuff. It was crazy.
You're talking about your papal. You're talking about Kenny Lax.
Yeah.
And Kenny, he's the #1 Rams fan. Shannon, what's something you remember about Kenny that makes you laugh?
Oh, well, every first play of the game, we'd run a trick play where the whole offensive line was out, lined up at receiver, and we throw the ball to him behind the whole offensive line, and it never worked. Never worked.
But you always kept trying it, right?
Yeah, we tried it every first play.
Do you remember that, Bryson?
Yeah, it worked. It worked a few times. It was a silent cadence too, so we'd sneak it on them.
Now you snapping the ball, you couldn't screw this up because you were dead meat if you did.
No. This was when I was at receiver. This
year.
year.
Okay, so you'd moved out on the outside.
Kenny had moved me to receiver. I think it was Carbrow the center.
Yeah.
And your quarterback. It was a silent cadence. He'd go up and tap him, get it, and throw the screen. It worked a few times, and then teams caught on to it eventually.
Had to go away from that.
Yeah.
Parker, for you, what's something you go back to those? Getting a chance to play for your papal, how big was that?
I don't know. It was just a really fun time. I'm glad I got to be out there with him. He's coached like everybody in my family. Hunter and Taylor and McKenna, everybody. So I mean, it was kind of just an honor.
For you guys getting a chance to get back home, your senior season, what's the one thing that you guys want to take away in those 4 games that you're guaranteed to play here on the home field starting Friday night when you bring Mercer County in?
Really just show the fans what we're capable of, bring it to the home field, and show them everything we've been working on since last year and that we can bring home a gold one this year.
Shannon, for you?
Just giving them something to be excited about and wanting to come Fridays and watch us play.
Parker?
Kind of same thing what Shannon said. Give them something to play for, and hopefully we win it for everybody this year.
What's it like when you come out of the Ram and you hear the fans, the air horn, the excitement? What's it like when you come out of that thing?
It's electric. You're gonna kind of get a little nervous. Also, you're trying not to slip out of the Ram too.
Have any of you 3 slipped coming out of the Ram? Be honest.
I haven't. Stilner did last year.
I remember that. I saw that one.
There's been a couple close times, but
yeah.
Billy Hughes last year fell every game.
Yes, he did. I think we had him one time on camera when he fell.
I think it was on purpose.
Yeah,
they have like that tarp under there, and it's like slick on with your cleats and stuff. It's kind of scary.
And we had a couple games last year. It was raining and stuff. Because I remember I did an interview with Coach, and we were underneath there, and I mean it was raining. There was water everywhere. So, you see the movies, the TV Friday Night Lights. Is this the closest thing that you could see in a movie of something like that? Because Friday night comes around, this place is jam-packed, and there's not that many people that live in Raceland.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. People always say there's nothing, like even college NFL players, nothing can replicate high school football, really. It's a crazy environment. We're all glad we get to play in it.
Shannon, you look up at the stands and you see all these people, and you're like, where the heck do all these people come from?
Yeah, it's very surreal because you'll see people here who you've never seen before. You don't even see them out and about. They literally just come out of their house to watch Friday Night Football here, and it's very insane.
Parker, for you, and again, you're so ingrained with your family, with going back from Kenny and Mike and everybody around. Your brother's got just opened up a new store that he moved his stuff over to. Congratulations to him as well. But all those people that you look around and you don't know who half of these people are, but they're out there just screaming and cheering on the Rams.
I mean, yeah. I guess like the biggest thing is like I didn't realize how important it was to everybody. You know, first playing out here, and you just kind of just try to play for them.
For you, playing behind your brother, he had his moments. Now you get your chance. Do you remember watching Big Brother and everything that he did?
Yeah, I remember watching a couple kicks and stuff, and getting mad at him because he's got one job and he can't really do it. But,
sorry, Peyton. You knew it was coming, man. To see what he has accomplished, he started this business, this sports memorabilia, and seeing him open up his own business. How big is that to you?
I'm just kind of proud of him, honestly. Obviously, he didn't really play football his whole life, and then he started, he got released because of his heart and stuff, so he got to play, and I was happy for him, and he started to really like it and pick up on it, and then now he's just doing really good in life, and he's got a shop and stuff. So
yeah, brand new shop he just opened up, just down the street, not too far from his old shop in Old Russell. But if you're into sports memorabilia, he's got everything in the world. He's always got people coming in doing autograph sessions and stuff. So keep an eye out. As soon as he's getting new things coming in, we'll definitely keep you up to date with that as we move forward. Mercer County, guys, Friday night, before we get to that, Hall of Fame night. And you guys go over to the ceremony. You guys watch that new group come in, and every year a new group gets enshrined in that group. What does that mean for you to sit there and to hear about those people that's paved the way to get you guys to where you are right now?
Yeah, it's awesome. This is year 100, and this every week we don't have the stickers on the back of the helmet like usually because we're playing for all the 99 other years ahead of us. So it's awesome seeing these guys, what they've did. And we get to see Connor Messer go in, right?
Yeah, Connor's going in.
That's probably Coach Vannon's favorite player of all time, so he'll be excited for that one.
We might actually see Coach Vannon just crack a small smile every once. He doesn't do it often, so
he's gonna love it.
Shannon, for you, seeing those guys in the Hall of Fame and doing it, how big is that to see what they have paved to get you to where you are?
It's very nice, and you watch them and you hope one day that's you, because you see them and you're very inspired by them, and you hear stories about them all the time from all the coaches, and then you see them. It's very inspiring.
Parker, you hear Connor Messer. Wasn't too long ago he played here. He graduated in 2015, played in the 14 season. So we're talking about 10 years ago, and I mean it shows how much of an impact he made. But to see somebody like him at his youth age, and then some of the older guys that's going, I mean, it really shows the kind of the everybody in Raceland can be a part of this thing, and it's something that you guys get to be a part of Friday night.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I remember me and Rowsey used to watch his highlights in middle school and stuff. We were we didn't even know him yet. We probably watched him when we were younger, but we didn't really remember. And we just remember saying this guy's crazy, and we didn't know how he was doing all that.
One final question for you guys before I turn you loose. The first home game of your career. What's the one thing that you want to see happen Friday night, Bryson?
One thing I want to see happen, big crowd coming out of the Rams, see everybody there for us, and then go get a big win, get one back from last week.
Shannon?
Kind of the same as him, just a win.
Parker?
Obviously get the win, and then it'd be pretty nice if we get a pep section. We haven't had a pep section in 3 years.
Yeah.
So.
I think, you said there's going to be people painted up and stuff.
We got it.
Listen, pep section, but if you do something fun and decent, it may end up on camera. So there's a little bit more push there. Guys, always a pleasure. I enjoyed talking to you guys, see you guys in the hallways. You all did a phenomenal job. Best of luck Friday night. We'll talk to you then.
Thank you.
All right, we'll step out for a break. We come back. Coach Sammons will come and join me back again, and we'll talk about Hall of Fame weekend as well as the game with Mercer County Friday night right here at Ram Stadium. That's as we continue here inside Raceland Football on the Total Media Sports Network.
Good morning, Isabella.
Hi, David.
Back for your morning routine?
Clark's Refresh Rewards program is something you'll flip for.
Hey, Isabella. Hi, Annabelle.
Donut?
Don't forget the sprinkles. Sprinkles! Cream and sugar.
Download our app today and enjoy all of the rewards. No flipping required.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family. Because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Fall fishing season is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Luce, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter the species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style, with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
If you can picture yourself in a better job and a better life, there are thousands of openings in KentuckyKentucky.com.
At Members Choice Credit Union, we believe that strong communities begin with strong partnerships, and that starts with trust. Since 1932, we've proudly served the families and businesses of this region because your goals matter, your family matters, and your future should be built on a foundation you can count on and trust. Members Choice Credit Union, your money, your future, your choice.
Primary Plus is celebrating 40 years of its mission of quality, advanced, affordable health care. With over 11 primary care locations throughout the region, Primary Plus believes in our communities and our patients. The Primary Plus name means primary care plus so much more, offering extended services such as women's health, pediatrics, dental, counseling, diabetes management, infusion services, and on-site pharmacy that offers free delivery. Primary Plus believes in connecting health care for you and your family and is always welcoming new patients. Learn more at primaryplus.net.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Looking for the latest archery gear? Check out Borders Sporting Goods for your best selection of Hoyt and Matthews bows, as well as 10-point crossbows with a full selection of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with a full selection of benchmark and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small you need to keep your firearms safe. Before your next hunting excursion, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland. Back on Inside Raceland Football. The door's up now. The sun's finally gone.
Yep.
We couldn't use the. We wanted to have the door up when we first started, but we were in the shadows, so we had to put the door down. But beautiful night here at the ball field, and like I said, Coach, 2 more sleeps. Back home for the first time this year, and it's going to be an electric atmosphere Friday night for sure.
Yeah, really excited, to get back home. I think you heard those guys talk about we have bus, we'll travel. That's who we are. That's how that. Honestly, our program has elevated. I've been very transparent about that. We feel like that has, raised the bar for us. But make no mistake about it, it's good to be home. And it will be nice to be home for 2 weeks. Then we have a bye week, go on the road for 1, then you get 2 more at home. And if we can take care of the things we can't control, I talk about that again. I don't want to be a broken record or be a cliche, but that is the facts. I think there's a great opportunity there for us to earn more home games. And so that's really what it's about for us. Really excited to get before the home crowd. Obviously, it's Hall of Fame night as we try to reflect on year 100 and all the people that came before us. And really excited for our guys to take the field on Friday night. And, it's about 7:30 now, maybe just a few minutes after the sun's gone, and kind of shades cast over the field. And, I expect a really, good crowd for our home opener. And it'll be fun to be back home, and our kids can, shine in their hometown.
Before we talk about Mercer County, let's talk about the Hall of Fame induction class of 2025. Sam Phillips, graduation of 73. Ryan Farrell, 96. Bobby Rowe, 1975. Thomas Bishop from 87, and then Connor Messer from 2015. And you heard the boys talking about Connor, obviously a prolific player in his time here. You were an assistant here when he was in this area, and he was a kid that he was kind of like we talk about Jonah. He just put ATH beside his name because he could go do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, really good class there. I guess it shows how long you've been around or your age. First of all, with Ryan Farrell, I played with Ryan. He was a senior when I was a freshman in 95, the 95 team. So know Ryan well. Know the other guys. Sam Phillips lives over in Worthington, big supporter of ours. Tom Bishop, he's a big supporter of who we are and what we do. And, Bobby Rowe there is an attorney, lives out of town, but, follows us. Those guys obviously a little bit older than my recollection. And then Connor, Connor was obviously, I think that's the first player inducted, or will be the first player inducted in the Hall of Fame that played, for me as head coach. He was a senior my very first year, 2014. It's kind of funny. We talk about numbers and how we elevated the program and so on and so forth. With 2014, our first year here, we had 7 seniors. Sure did. Had four linemen and 3 skill guys. It's funny how that worked, and I don't know why you remember things like that, but you do. And went to the state semifinals, got beat out here on Black Friday. The first time I think we ever hosted a state semifinal game at the time, which was in 2014. Got beat by a really, really good Williamsburg team who should have won the state championship the next week. Actually got beaten overtime by Mayfield. But Connor, just I don't know about the greatest. I don't really get into that because of eras and so on and so forth. But one of the best athletes that we've ever been enshrined with, just on the field, on the football field, on the basketball court. I remember in the district tournament there one year, might have been in the district finals. I think he grabbed like 20-some rebounds. Multiple state track championships, whether it be hurdles or jumps or pole vaults or whatever. Just an outstanding young man, and so it'd be really nice to, our guys, I asked our guys the other day at practice, you guys remember Connor Messer, 2015, 2014 season, 10 years ago now, so some of our guys were maybe 8, 9, 10 years old, and some of them do. Some of them said, yeah, we remember Connor. And of course, some of them, they thought I was talking in Spanish, but, really excited to get him back here and get the rest of the guys. It'll be fun. Their names already up down at the stadium. And have them back. And I think we got the ceremony 5 o'clock on Friday. Our team will be there 45 minutes, an hour or so, depending on how long-winded everybody gets.
Sure.
About 6 o'clock, we got to get ready to rock, and then we have an 8 o'clock kickoff on Friday.
Yeah, and if you can't make it out to the event, we will be streaming it live right here on Kool TV. And you can always go back and watch the replay of it as well. So it gives you that opportunity that you have. But if you can come to the event, come live. If you can't, watch it if you're out of town or whatever. But we'll have it 5 o'clock. We'll be good to go from there. All right, let's talk some Mercer County football. It starts with their quarterback, Cornelius Mapp. He wears number 3, and it's no secret he wants to throw the football. They've thrown it this year for 336 yards. They've rushed it for 67. So it's no secret of what they want to do. As you see the numbers jump up on there on the screen, it's a pass-heavy attack, and that's something that you feel like that you have a chance to build on this week after the way things went down last week at Pikeville.
Yeah, tremendous challenge, right? First challenge, can we respond to the adversity we face, which has nothing to do with Mercer County from a week ago. Number 2, maybe some of the things that leave us with that bad taste, some big plays we gave up in the past game, they are going to challenge us in that very same manner. And can we answer the bell to that call? And so number 3 is an outstanding athlete, looks like on film. It's our first time. I don't know that Raceland has ever played Mercer County.
They have not. I've checked. They have not played.
I don't know if we ever played Harrodsburg. Mercer County is a merger between Mercer and Harrodsburg. I don't know if we ever played Harrodsburg. Again, in my recollection, no. But I don't have all 100 years knowledge. So, but not that I'm aware of. So, again, a new opponent for us. We wanted to take our product into Central Kentucky, even a little bit west. It's kind of south of Lexington, not all the way to Louisville, of course, but in that Central Kentucky market, this was a good opportunity for us to do that. Of course, we'll go there next year. But, yeah, really excited to see our guys try to really compete against a prolific high school passer. And he's an experienced guy, and Mercer's won, I think, the district championship the last 2 or 3 years. Now, they are in a realignment year, so that changes things a little bit for them. But that's part of it. Can we respond, and can we get after the passer? Again, pass rush, number 1. And can we rally the ball and tackle underneath stuff? Can we prevent explosives? And number 6 they got is a outstanding, very, very fast high school receiver. And so we'll have to make sure we know where he's at all times, that he is the quarterback's favorite target.
Yeah, Jaden Saylor. 8 catches for 158 yards on the season. He's got one of the 4 passing touchdown receptions. The other one, number 33, Jacob Sanford. I'm guessing his brother, Cohen Sanford, who wears 27. We'll see him in the backfield. But it's something like you said. They've got a couple of guys that are on the outside. You give that cat a chance to spin one, he'll put it on the numbers, and then you can have somebody get loose real quick.
Yeah, so 33 is the tight end. I assume 33 and 27 are brothers. I don't know that to be safe, to be certain. I think they're both seniors.
They're both seniors. That's what I'm going with as well.
I'm going to guess they're twins,
yeah.
Perhaps. 33, they both got big bodies. That's why I say that. 33 looks a little bit bigger on film. Nice tight end for them. He'll play as an attached tight end and also as a flex tight end. He actually leads them in catches, obviously number 6 in yards. 27 is the primary running back. They use some other kids back there too, but he is the primary runner. He's also a primary linebacker for them. And then number 6, he had a big play Friday against Atherton on the very first play of the game. And I think this is probably where they're most dangerous, and I guess maybe that's why it's a little bit troublesome in my mind, because that's the way the last game ended when things broke down. It wasn't a called play. The quarterback ran right, ran left, threw it up, boom, somebody caught it. Same thing happened in the Atherton game. Quarterback's running right, quarterback's running left. He's running around number 6 in the middle of the field, and he just takes off vertical, and the quarterback stops, throws it out there. Of course, he runs underneath it all the way to the end zone. And so those we call them scrambles. Maybe a better way to say it is backyard football drills and backyard football type of adjustments really is what makes them scary because they get in the open field. We're not going to catch them. And so we'll have to make sure we're really good in coverage on the back end, but at the same time we rush the passer correctly in the correct lanes and correct alleys and correct fits based on the pressures we're bringing. And when you get there, you got to get him on the ground.
They've given up 609 yards on the ground, 521 through the air. So, you've got a little bit of chance to go one way or the other. But obviously it's no secret. You guys want to come out and establish a run, because when you establish a run, it opens up the passing game.
Yeah, I told you last week we want to mix our pitches, and I felt like we did that very effectively in the first half, maybe the first 2.5 quarters even. We were able to do that. But, yeah, we feel like there's some opportunities there for us if we can play to our potential to be able to move the football. We got a lot of playmakers. There's a lot of guys that when we touch the ball that can really do some good things for us. We are some of the parts. We don't have just one guy who can touch the ball. We got multiple guys. But everybody's got to be working in cohesiveness. 11 guys function together at every single moment. No breakdowns from any of the 11. Week 4, we should have less breakdowns than what we had week 1, and so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for progress in those areas. I look for us to, put the ball in Jake's hands some, let Jake get us in the right checks, let Jake get us in the right situations and get the ball to where it needs to be distributed. I also look for us to get behind our offensive line and really try to exert ourselves and be physical at the point of attack, and try to win the line of scrimmage. And if we can win the line of scrimmage in a situation where, on both sides of the ball, that'll give us the best opportunity to be successful on Friday in our Hall of Fame game.
We talked about this last week with the offensive line and the ability that they've done to keep Jake upright this year. And to my knowledge, I don't know that they've gotten to him yet. He's been able to stay upright, keep his feet underneath him, and that's something that they really take a pride of, taking care of the guy behind them.
Yeah, those guys are really prideful when it comes to Jake. I think you heard Isaac say something back there last week. You take a lot of pride when your guy gets hit. It's like you're getting hit. It's just the difference is when Jake gets hit, it probably hurts him a little bit more than when Isaac gets hit. Right? That's just how it works. But yeah, it goes twofold. I think obviously offensive line having a lot of pride in that. Number one, number two, Jake knowing where the ball needs to go, when it needs to get there, and also having that internal clock when the ball needs to come out. And I think probably that's one of his growth areas that he's really grown in and really been good at. I thought last week his throws were on time. He was really, throwing guys open versus waiting the guys are open, and it's probably his biggest growth area. And now we're kind of into the point where he's been our football starter for a year, a whole calendar year. And so, we expect his growth to continue. And so as he leads our team on Friday, he can also make plays with his legs. And, we want to mix our pitches and give our team the best chance to be successful.
I thought something last week that you guys did a really good job with was the screen game. And a lot of that was he was putting the ball when those curls were coming out of those screens to where they could catch it and get their head turned upfield, not having to catch, turn, and let the defense close in on them.
Yeah, again, he has multiple options when the ball snapped. He knows that, where the ball needs to go. We don't really coach him on that. He's coached on what the options are and how to decide. But, he decides, not us. So he's on the field, and we've tried to add to that a little bit this week and give him a little more freedom. And Jake is super cerebral. He's very smart, very intelligent. He's really grown emotionally. He's in control of his emotions at all times. Even last week, I don't know that he really flinched. Some of our team flinched at times, not necessarily certain guys, I think just as a unit or just as a group. And those are things that we have to grow through. And, every practice schedule that we put out right now says you got to grow through what you go through. And that's kind of our mindset right now. And that's who we are. And that's our expectations going in to this Friday night. We're going to grow through what we went through. And whatever we go through Friday, we're going to grow through it. And those storms, those adverse moments is really what will define who we are. Friday will not define us. That will not be the defining moment or defining answer for the 2025 journey. When they look back and talk about the legacy of 2025, that won't define it. I don't know what will, but I know how we define it. That's how we adjust and overcome and go through those adverse moments. And there's plenty more to come. We know that. But what greater lesson to get them early in the season.
Before we get any further, I've just been told in the chat they're not brothers. So we'll have to figure out what the relation is, if there's anything. But it's odd having the same last name and both being seniors. But being told they're not brothers. Another thing from the chat, and you can't see it on the back side here because it's all the way on the upper side. Lawn Chair Nation is already coming out. It's Wednesday, and there's probably 50 seats already piled out here on the turf. You expect a big crowd here Friday night. And again, it's those people that they don't have to live here at Raceland, but Raceland and Raceland football means a lot to a lot of people in this area.
Yeah, I came out here Tuesday for practice. Actually, it's no secret. I live about 100 yards from where we're sitting. I don't know if I was with myself or maybe with my wife, and we came around the corner, and I think I was with my wife, and she said, "What are all those chairs doing over there? Are they there for the game Friday?" And I said, "Yeah, these people are crazy." And that's how they're crazy about their football. And when we came out to practice Tuesday, they were there. And I think maybe Mr. Collins put something out earlier about he had to readjust them or relocate them. And I'm sure he knows this, but they will be relocated back.
Oh, yeah. It is like a piece of real estate.
Yeah, it's no surprise. But, yeah, it's the heartbeat of the community, right? Like I tell people all the time, some people get it, some people don't, but you don't open up a state map and find Raceland. You don't open up a state map and say, hey, let's move to Raceland. That's where I want to raise my family. That is not how this place works. Either you're from here and you throw down the root and you're not leaving. Somehow, at one point, job brought you here, but there's no jobs that exist like that anymore. So that doesn't happen. The railroad, the marathon, the Armco, the AK, that stuff's over. So people that are here are people that, quite honestly, have refused to leave, and this is all they know. And this is what they're prideful in. And when we tee it up on Friday night, those guys will be here, and they'll be here loud, and they'll be here excited for our team. Some of them have been able to follow us. We've been, the last 2 weeks, we've been, over 300 miles from home one way combined, well over 300 miles, maybe 350 from home. So some of those people have been fortunate enough to make the trip. Some of them have not, but they, in a school system that's a little over 5 square miles, they can make it here Friday. However, they got to jump the tracks or over the tunnel or under the tunnel or over the pond, whatever they got to do to get here. I'm sure they'll do what they can do and to be here. And I would expect a really good crowd. Not only from the football side, but our band will be performing, so you got a band following there. Who also follows the football team. You got our dance team bringing some cheer, as well as our cheerleaders. We got an 18, 20 person cheer. I think dance has got 8 to 10 girls and all their following and their families, and so it becomes a community event. You got the band also. We'll be down and working the concession stand. You got the softball team on the other side doing their world famous funnel cakes, and so we'll have programs for sale out front, and they'll be out there tailgating or whatever they do, and. I think it'll be an electric atmosphere from the sense that people has been starved for this, right? I told the football team today, I think our last home game, and you can probably correct me if I'm wrong on this, was the regional finals last November.
Yes.
So you're talking about, the Friday before Thanksgiving in November. And so this is going to be, September 12th. So you're 8-9 months plus a few weeks, so maybe close to 10 months since we've played on the field that sits behind us. So there'll be a lot of people excited to see our team. And listen, there are expectations in this town. We know that. We don't shy from that. You heard our guys talk about that. Would you rather be somewhere where there's not expectations? That's not really how we're built. Expectations mean there's something that's expected of you. People are counting on you, and that's a good feeling. Our guys embrace that, and our guys will carry that with them on the field Friday night.
Well, the lights will be shining bright here Friday night, 8 o'clock kickoff. Our coverage will begin at 7:40 with countdown to kickoff. Don't forget, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony will go at 5 p.m. You can watch it here live on the Total Media Sports Network and Kool TV. Coach, that's going to wrap us up for this week. A lot of fun we've done so far in 2 weeks. We got a lot of things we're going to put together, but greatly appreciate the time. We'll talk to you Friday night.
Yeah, really proud of our guys. I think it's 3 seniors tonight, 3 last week, so 6. That's half our senior class. We'll get the rest of the guys on here, and I'm really proud of those guys. You know, it's easy to lead from the front, you know, when you're 1-0 or 2-0 or, you know, whatever, 3-0, you know, if we were. And so it says a lot for guys to be able to step up and be in these adverse moments. And I think that's who we got. I think that's who our guys are. I think that's who our leadership is. And I think, you know, those guys will bring that on Friday night.
Greatly appreciate our 3 seniors that joined us tonight, Parker Ison, Marushi, and Bryson Rowsey. Really, they were nervous. I mean, they drilled me all day wanting to know the questions, but they did a great job. Shannon especially, he came to me at lunch today. He was like, I need to know what the questions are. Like, it's element of surprise. We'll work it out. But big hat tip to our crew behind the scenes, Felicia Collier, Jacob Hankins taking care of all the production work, doing a fabulous job as always. That's it for us tonight. We'll be with you again Wednesday night, every Wednesday night right here from the Fieldhouse as we break down everything Raceland football. But first, we got a football game Friday night. Home opener, 8 o'clock kickoff right here on the Total Media Sports Network. For Mike Salmons, Felicia Collier, and Jacob Hankins, I'm James Collier saying so long. We'll talk to you Friday night right here on the Total Media Sports Network.
Thanks for watching this episode of Inside Raceland Football on Kool TV. Join us each Wednesday night at 7 for another episode as we break down everything with Raceland Rams football.